Hey everybody, so this is the second attempt to record this. Sorry, I forgot that I turned my mic off the other day. So, why is this not starting? There we go. Alright, I'm going to be doing the Buffalo Sabres preview today. So, here we go. They're bringing back this symbol. It's varied the last few years, just little bits here and there, but this is the one for this year. Alright, so Buffalo. This is who they added. Tobias Reeder, 1 year, 700,000. Matt Irwin, 1 year, 700,000. Brandon Davidson, 1 year, and I still forgot to write down the amount that he's making. I'm guessing around 700,000 as well. Cody Eakin, 2 year, 2.25 million per year. Taylor Hall, the big fish of what they got this year, 1 year, $8 million. Eric Stahl, they acquired via trade. Stephen Fogarty, a minor league player, 1 year, 700,000, and Dustin Tokarski, 2 years, 725,000 per year. This is who they lost. Wayne Simmons went to Toronto. I still don't understand that trade they made last trade deadline to acquire him. They were bottom of the league, yet they acquired somebody. I don't understand it. But it is what it is. He's on Toronto now. It doesn't matter. Johan Larsson went to Arizona. Jimmy Vesey to Toronto. Scott Wilson to Florida, which should be FLA. Sorry about that. Dominic Cahoon to Edmonton. Andrew Hammond to Minnesota. Michael Frolik and Matt Humwick are free agents who may still return, who knows. Same with Vladimir Sabatka. He signed in the Swiss League, but it was a 1 month contract. And Marcus Johansson was the person traded for Eric Stahl. So Marcus Johansson is now obviously on Minnesota. This is who they re-signed. They re-signed Victor Olofsson. Had a great year last year. Don't blame him for re-signing him. 2 years, $3.05 million per year. Linus Olmark will be their backup, 1 year, $2.6 million. Sam Reinhart, a 1 year, $5.2 million prove it contract because he, I believe, is arbitration eligible next year. But if he does well enough, they can increase that amount and the amount of years. He has to prove it, though. He's had good years, but he has not been what they drafted him to be so far. Brandon Montour, same type of thing. 1 year, $3.85 million prove it deal to see if you're worth more. Zemgus Girgensons, 3 year, $2.2 million per year. He got his bigger contract. And this is where the cap situation is. $78 million, and they projected space about $3.5 million. So they got some space to add if they wanted to add. So, I mean, they're going to add in the big contracts that are out there that people want to get rid of, but they got room for something. This is where their forwards sit in the cap. Taylor Hall will be UFA, Eric Stahl will be UFA, and Tobias Reeder will be UFAs. Sam Reinhart, like I said, arbitration eligible after this year. Hall is basically a prove it deal, kinda. I mean, I don't see him for how much they already got those two for. I don't see him re-signing or them re-signing him for that amount. I think they'll try and talk him down if they can't get rid of that Kyle Pozo $6 million for 3 year deal, because that's just a god awful contract at this point. Eric Stahl, I mean, he's a 1 year guy. They're trying to recreate what he and Jeff Skinner had back with Carolina, so I can see why they did that one. Cody Eakin's going to be a solid third line center for them. I still think Vegas was stupid to get rid of him, but they had to because they needed cap space. But I think they could have re-signed him this year for a cheaper amount like he is at right now. Alright, their D-men are right there. You got still Lawrence Pollute to re-sign. I believe he played some games for him last year. I can't remember. I didn't really watch Buffalo last year. Carter Hutton and Linus Olmark are both UFAs after this year. They're expecting their young stud of a goalie, Jukka-Pekka Luukkonen, I believe his name is, to be ready by next year, I think. That's why they'll probably re-sign one of these two to be the backup, or be the starter and then him be the backup to start. After this year, you have Montour, Jake McCabe, and Matt Irwin, all UFAs. Rasmus Dahlin and Henry Jokiharju will be RFAs. And you know Dahlin is going to get more. Yoki Harji's probably going to get more. Jake McCabe's going to want a little bit more, not much more. Montour's going to want a lot more if he has a good year. And Hutton will probably be about the same amount. Olmark probably will be too. And for some reason, I don't know why they even had this on here. Christian Ehrhoff is in their buyout history, but it's $0. Why is he even on the list if it's $0? Cody Hodgson still for next 3 years. And I was surprised to see Cody Hodgson still. You don't see his name much anymore. And for the forwards, they still have Casey Middlestat to resign and put into their lineup somewhere. But this is where the rest of their forwards sit, the non-roster guys. Wait, no. And this is where the defenders and their goalies sit. There's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He's got 2 more years on his contract. He's only 21 too, so he's got time to grow. Alright, their 2020 draft. Jack Quinn at right wing, number 8 overall. Supposed to be the best goal scorer of the bunch. We'll see. Time will tell with that. Because who would have picked Joe Pavelski to be the best of his draft year? But he was. Number 34, you had John Jason Paterka. Number 131, you got Matteo Constantini. Number 193, Albert Lykeson. And number 216, Jakob Konechny. Their draft picks for the next 3 years, they do not have their 3rd or 5th round pick for this year. And they do not have their 5th round pick for next year, but they have all their other picks. So they have quite a few. They're missing a couple this year, but nothing too bad. This is where their lineup will sit. First line, Hall, Eichel, and Reinhart. That could be a very potent offensive line. Then you have Stahl, Skinner, and Olsen, which could be a very potent line too. Third line, you got Eakin, Tage Thompson, and Zemgus Girgensons, who probably can provide some offense there. They're going to be a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. Fourth line could be Curtis Lazar, Casey Middlestat, and Kyle Pozo. A tale of just not good. Or guys who had not lived up to their potential. Defense, you got Dahlin and Ristolainen. Ristolainen may still be trade bait from what we understand from all the rumors that are out there. Then second one, Jake McCabe and Henry Jokiharju. Third defensive pair, you got Colin Miller and Brandon Montour. Backups, you have Tobias Reeder, Andrew Ogilvy, and Matt Irwin. Then goalies, you have Hutton and Olmark. This is their non-roster forward lineup that you got here. Nothing stands out as super great. And Brandon Davison could be plugged in if they needed him to. He's played games. Dustin Tokarski could be plugged in and go backup goalie if he needs to be. Alright, here's their loans. In which case, I'm not sure any of those are regulars. Other than Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He might possibly play this year. Who knows? And they could also have Dylan Cousins plug in, or Jack Quinn could also. I think Paterka, you need another couple years probably before he's ready. But Cousins could definitely be in lineup this year. According to NHL.com, he's supposed to be in there this year. They expect him to be on the team this year. Jack Quinn, you may still have another year, but he could also possibly play. And you have Lawrence Pollute down here, who's on the reserve list, who I believe played games last year. He might be a defender in the top 6 this year, too. Alright, for top prospects, you got Dylan Cousins, 84 points in 68 WHL games. He's a center, so he could play that 4th line or 3rd line center this year, possibly. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, goalie. He played 1 game in the AHL last year, won the 1 game. He was 38, 11, and 2 in 53 OHL games. Jack Quinn, 89 points in 62 OHL games. I believe he's a right winger. Matthias Samuelsson, a defender, 12 points in 35 NCAA games. And Jacob Bryson, defender, 27 points in 61 AHL games. Dylan Cousins, he could possibly be ready for second line by next year. I think that's why he got stalled at second line. And he's a UFA after this year, so he could be next year ready to go. I had a hard time finding a top 10 list to get some extra other mentioned top prospects. I found a list from like 2014, which only Sam Reinhart's still on that team, by the way. And I found last year where I pulled these two from: Eric Portillo, goalie, and Oskari Laaksonen, a defender. So for this season, I think Buffalo will probably be a middle range team. I mean, they'll probably be middle to bottom in their division. They have a pretty strong division. I mean, they have the offense to be there. Their defense is kind of and their goaltending is meh. I mean, unless Luukkonen ends up playing and just absolutely destroys everybody, in which case then they could be dang good. But I think chances are they're going to be bottom of the pack again this year. I mean, this is the new divisions that came out when the NHL and the NHLPA signed the agreement for this season. This is the new divisions. For them, they got Boston, New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. If you ask me if who Buffalo is better than on this list, New Jersey. That's about it. Maybe the New York Islanders too. Depending on every year I say they're gonna be bad and they end up being good the last couple of years. So who knows with them? But they're pretty cap strapped. So I think they're gonna have a hard time. So that's where they'll be. I think they could be as good as the middle. I mean, they could be possibly better than both of the New York teams. It maybe even Pittsburgh if they end up getting a really good hot streak going. But I don't think they're better than Philly, Washington, or Boston for sure. They're not better than those three. So that's where I think they'll finish. I mean, it's always a prediction. You never know. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you're a Buffalo fan, hopefully things can turn around soon for you. Because they've been bad for a few years now. It's just sad to see because they used to be the best team. I mean, the year my team, the Ducks, won the championship in 07, Buffalo was the only team I feared that year. Unfortunately, they lost to Ottawa, and then Ducks beat Ottawa in the finals, so I can't complain, but I was honestly hoping to play Buffalo. It would have been a much more entertaining finals than Ottawa was. But it still was fun to see my team win either way, so at least they won without much resistance. But, alright, so that's where Buffalo stands. Hopefully they do better here in the next couple of years, but for now I think they're going to be at the bottom again this year and hopefully get a good pick again. But anyways, if you like the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see the next video when it drops, which will be a Calgary Flames preview for next year. So hopefully you keep your eyes out for that. And make sure to like, share, comment, and just make sure to keep the comments civil. As long as you do that, we are going to be fine and we can have debates. I don't mind. I love talking about hockey, so have fun commenting. And I will see you next video, everybody. Bye, everybody.